If you're moving to the Seattle area, there's one decision you're going to make before you ever step foot inside of a house. And it's the biggest one around here. Do you live in Seattle, on the west side of Lake Washington, or do you cross the bridges and live on the east side, places like Bellevue, Redmond, Kirkland, etc.? That single choice will shape your day-to-day life more than almost anything else. Your commute, your weekends, your social life, even enjoying where you live versus being stuck in traffic. So today, I want to walk you through what everyday life really looks like on each side of the lake, so you can figure out which side of the lake actually fits you. Here's how we'll break it down: lifestyle and culture, commute, housing and value, community and schools, and lastly, how you'll spend your free time. By the end of this video, you should have a pretty clear gut feeling about which side feels like home. Let's start with Seattle, the west side of Lake Washington. When people say Seattle, they're usually talking about neighborhoods like Capitol Hill, Ballard, Fremont, Wallingford, Queen Anne, Green Lake, West Seattle, the list goes on and on. Each neighborhood has its own personality, but the common thread is this: Seattle is unapologetically itself. This is where you'll find independent coffee shops on most corners, tiny music venues wedged between apartment buildings, dive bars next to incredible restaurants, and a mix of people from everywhere. It feels like a big city that's been broken into a bunch of mini neighborhoods. If you like walking out your front door and having 10 options for dinner, a brewery, a bookstore, a park, all within a few blocks, then Seattle makes a lot of sense. Capitol Hill has energy and nightlife. Ballard has that cool brewery vibe, you know what I'm talking about? Fremont is quirky and artsy. Green Lake is full of runners, strollers, and dogs all day long. There's always something happening. Housing in Seattle is kind of all over the place. You'll see older craftsman homes, mid-century homes, tons of townhomes, and lots of condos. In general, you're getting less space in older homes compared to the east side, but you're paying for walkability and location. Yards are smaller, layouts can be funky, and yes, stairs are very common. But for a lot of people, that's a trade-off they're happy to make. From a commute standpoint, if you work downtown in South Lake Union near Amazon or close to the University of Washington, living in Seattle is hard to beat. Walking, biking, the light rail, being at work in 10 or 25 minutes is a massive quality of life win. But, and this is a big but, if you live in Seattle but work on the east side, you're commuting across the bridge. People underestimate this all the time. The 520 or I-90 commute during rush hour can easily turn into 45 minutes or to over an hour each way. Is it doable? Yeah. Fun? Nope. Culturally, Seattle skews younger, more politically active, and more visibly diverse. There's more nightlife, more events, more noise, more everything. Some people thrive on that. Others feel like it's just too much. Now let's cross the lake and talk about the east side. And if you're not from around here, this is gonna be a lot. It's Bellevue, Kirkland, Redmond, Mercer Island, Issaquah, Sammamish. This side of the lake is completely different. It's newer, it's cleaner, it's way more suburban, although downtown Bellevue genuinely feels like its own city now, complete with its own skyline. Bellevue is the hub of the east side, with high-rise condos, high-end shopping, and a restaurant scene that has grown to compete against Seattle. Kirkland has a walkable waterfront that surprises everyone, with restaurants, coffee shops, and parks right on the lake. And Redmond, well, it's anchored by Microsoft, obviously, with tons of trails and parks. Sammamish and Issaquah have that more classic suburban family-focused feel and are heavily driven by their school districts. Housing on the east side tends to be newer and more expensive. You'll see more modern layouts, newer construction, and generally more space. Median prices in places like Bellevue and Kirkland are typically higher than most neighborhoods in Seattle, especially if you're looking for newer homes or anything near the water. The upside is fewer surprises and less deferred maintenance. From a commute perspective, if you work in Bellevue, Redmond, or Kirkland, living on the east side just makes life easier. Shorter drives, no toll bridges, less daily stress. If you work in Seattle and live on the east side, you're doing the reverse commute. It's manageable, but don't ignore it. Community-wise, the east side feels more family-focused and affluent. Household incomes are typically higher, crime rates are lower, and schools are a major draw. Bellevue and Lake Washington school districts consistently rank near the top of the state. If schools matter to you a lot, then the east side usually rises to the top of your list really quickly. The trade-off is that some people feel the east side is a little too buttoned up. Fewer dive bars, fewer kind of those offbeat spots, more polished. For some people, that's exactly what they want. For others, it feels boring. This is where knowing yourself truly matters. Now let's talk about how you actually spend your free time. On the Seattle side, you've got the Puget Sound, Golden Gardens, Alki Beach, ferries, sunset views over the Olympic Mountains. You've got incredible parks like Discovery Park, Green Lake, Gasworks, and Volunteer Park. There's a deep arts and music scene, more nightlife, and a wider range of events. On the east side, your water is Lake Washington or Lake Sammamish. Kirkland alone has miles of shorelines with beaches, marinas, parks, paddleboarding, boating, and swimming all summer. You're also closer to the mountains. Cougar Mountain, Tiger Mountain, Snoqualmie Pass, hiking, biking, and skiing are simply faster and easier from most east side neighborhoods. Nightlife is quieter with more wine bars and nice dinners and just fewer late nights. So how do you decide? Here's the simplest way to think about it. Live in Seattle if you want a true urban lifestyle. Walkability matters, you want energy and character, you work in the city and want to avoid the bridge, you're okay with older homes and smaller spaces if it means getting better access to everything. Live on the east side if you want a newer home, a quieter neighborhood, strong schools, and an easier daily routine, especially if you work out there. You value your safety, space, and predictability, even if it means trading off some of that cool factor. One thing people don't think about enough is how brutal the wrong commute can be. If your home and job are on opposite sides of Lake Washington, you'll feel it every single weekday. For most people, work location should be the tiebreaker. I'll admit it, I'm a little biased here. For a lot of people, Kirkland ends up being the sweet spot. Schools and stability, plus a real waterfront downtown that's walkable and social. It feels more like a small lake town than a suburb. You're about 10 minutes to Bellevue, 10 minutes to Redmond, and still within reach of Seattle. For seniors who want the right home without jumping straight into a downtown high-rise, Kirkland's condos and townhomes near the water check almost all the boxes. For young professionals, it can feel like a calmer version of Seattle without giving up access. Bottom line is, there's no right answer, only the right answer for you. The mistake I see people make all the time is choosing based on a quick weekend visit or a few Instagram clips instead of thinking what daily life actually looks like, especially in the winter, in the rain, or during rush hour. If you're considering a move here, or even thinking about crossing the lake and want to talk through what actually makes sense for your life, that's exactly what I can help with. Reach out and let's have a real conversation about whether you belong in Seattle or on the east side. Or if you ask me, it might be in a little waterfront town called Kirkland.